Hi, in this video, I'll talk a little bit about TCP sliding windows. Okay, so waiting for an acknowledgement after each segment, as we saw in the previous video, or the video on TCP flow control and window sizes, would be very inefficient. So to maintain better efficiency, I should say, TCP uses something called a sliding window. Okay, so in this case here, the client has a window size of 10,000 bytes. Okay, so the server is going to start sending it. We're going to just keep it simple here. We're going to do 1,000 bytes per segment, but I'm just going to show you each segment here. So it shows this window. It says, okay, I can send you 10,000 bytes, 10 segments, let's say, before having to stop and wait for an acknowledgement. So it sends the first segment. Sends this, so it says, okay, so I got to stop at 10, send the second segment, but the client doesn't necessarily have to wait until it has received the 10,000 bytes before sending an acknowledgement. So it might send an acknowledgement actually after it receives the first segment saying, hey, I'm acknowledging I got the first segment. And again, we're using segment numbers instead of bytes for simplicity. So just so you know, I've processed the first segment. So, just knowing that I got that reliably and everything's okay. Well, when the server receives that acknowledgement, it says, oh, okay, I might have sent you some other segments. I've actually sent you also segment 2, but I know you received segment 1. So I can slide this window over one segment. Now I don't have to stop at segment 10. I can stop at segment 11. So it keeps on sending. And as the client receives these segments, it keeps on acknowledging them. So it says, oh, okay. The server says, oh, I just saw your acknowledgement for acknowledgement 3, which tells me it's an expectation acknowledgement, which means you got the first 2 segments. So let me slide that window over, starting at 3, going in another 10 segments, going from 3 to 12. So you can see that this will continue to happen as the server receives these acknowledgements. It continues to slide that window over, saying, hey, I can keep on sending these segments as long as I keep on getting these acknowledgements from you. Okay, this helps TCP be more efficient instead of being that stop and wait protocol that we saw earlier, where it just sends a bunch of segments having to stop and wait for the acknowledgement. By the way, how often does the receiving end send an acknowledgement? It typically happens after every other segment. Okay, so let's take a look at this in our animation. All right, so here's that nice little sliding windows animation from rad.com. And notice that I've got a window size down here of 4. So let's get that started. It's going to send 4, we're just going to do segments here, I guess, to keep it simple. 4 segments at a time. You can also think of it as bytes. But notice when the 4 are received, it slides that window over saying, oh, okay. So the sender sends. So this is the receiver's window. Let me do this, start this over again. So this is the window size is 4. Okay, so the sender knows that it can send 4 at a time. And when it gets that acknowledgement, let's take a look here. So as it gets the acknowledgement, here comes the sender. Gets that acknowledgement, it slides that window over. Okay, so as it gets the acknowledgement coming back for each one, here it comes, slides the window over. Okay, gets the acknowledgement, slides the window over. All right, so I hope this helped you understand a little bit more about sliding windows.